If you've been following this channel for the past 2 months, I urge you to watch this. It is important that you know exactly what you've been watching in that time, the truth about the videos many of you have been enjoying. My name is Anthony, and I will relay this information in the way that I experienced it myself. On September 6, 2020, my 7-year-old brother, Jordan, disappeared. He had gone to play outside, just in our backyard, and he, never came back in. That afternoon, our parents and I searched for him out there and couldn't find him. After half an hour of searching, we called the police. They helped us search our property even more thoroughly, and then the whole neighborhood. It's been almost 2 weeks, and the police haven't been able to find Jordan. But what they did find was in the shed attached to our small standalone garage. It was film equipment. Not much, no actual camera, but a tripod and 2 small but professional cinema lights. There were no fingerprints on them. I had a suspicion. It was unlikely, but I had to see. Just in case, I scoured the internet. There probably wasn't anything to find, and even if there was, I didn't really know what I was looking for anyway. For when I finally stumbled across it, it was so obvious that it didn't even matter. This little YouTube channel has documented someone staying on mine and my family's property for 2 months, undetected, and eventually murdering my 7-year-old brother and fleeing the police. This is the street I live on. That's my house on the right. This is the larger of our 2 garages. This is the rain barrel that stood behind our garages for as long as I can remember. This is the man inside our basement, our living room, and my parents' bedroom. And after what he did to my brother, here he is fleeing as the police arrived that night. Look closely at the lights. He slipped right by them, just as they got to my house. It seems like he tried very, very hard to make you think that this was his house, but it wasn't. He was trespassing the entire time. Notice that he typically showed himself inside the garage or the basement, where we go relatively infrequently. He could slip inside there, unheard. If he was ever anywhere else, it was clearly late at night when we were all sleeping. The one time he entered the house during the day, it was a huge windstorm. I remember this. It was just a month ago, and we all took a trip to Lowe's to buy a generator. His power had gone out. He had the house to himself, except for our cat. I don't think he could have possibly spent all this time on our property. It's not like we never went into the garage or basement, but he was clearly there often, and we never ever saw him. No one. Except Jordan. At the end, of course. But, why? What was this for? Judging by that 10th video he posted, he was not mentally sound. He had a doctor or psychiatrist or something, but that wasn't good enough for me. And it's not good enough for me. Why did the motherfucker do this, specifically? That's why I'm here now. I want to find out. And you're all going to find out too. I guess I should mention now, if you're wondering how I'm uploading a video from this channel, I won't go into much detail, but it is not difficult to gain access to a YouTube channel if you have enough patience. And honestly, given the circumstances, I feel that I am completely at liberty to use this account as my own. The videos were filmed on my property, after all. Well, I knew what I had to do, right away. In the videos, he was sloppy. He covered his face, but he didn't match the rest of his head. That was enough to go on, to make an educated guess. I looked through the online records of people at large or missing in my home state. That is Hollis Coogan, a 23-year-old citizen of a town about 20 minutes away from mine. Just look at him. It's the same person, no doubt. No doubt in my mind at all. His parents filed a missing persons report for him a little over 2 months ago. There's very little verifiable information about him online. I saw the name Hollis Coogan on an old high school tennis roster from his town of residence. It's a pretty uncommon name, so I assume it's him. But otherwise, no information and no online presence. No Facebook, nothing. Aside from this YouTube channel and its corresponding Twitter account, of course. Now, the videos comprehensively tell some kind of story about how Hollis Coogan was being watched and followed by something. People, supernatural entities, I don't know. I live in a superlatively quiet neighborhood. There are no people nor any entities living around here who would be looking for a 23-year-old kid or want any harm to befall him. I think Hollis Coogan knew he was going to do something bad, or maybe he had already done something bad and wanted to drum up a little sympathy for himself as long as he could. It's the kind of thing a sick person would do. On the Twitter account, he went on record saying that these videos were not meant to convey a coherent message to the audience, after all. Instead, they were for his own catharsis. That is where my theory stands now. But I need to know more. There's more to find out, and looking at the old videos will be a start. Obviously, there's some cryptography to be done. That blue rain barrel that's been behind my garages for as long as I can remember, that thing seemed to intrigue Hollis for some damn reason. Enough that he represented it with a shitty little symbol sometimes. And that doesn't seem to be the only thing. But that's where I'm going to start. I don't know if this needs to be said, but my parents do not know about this. Nobody does. Except me. I'm not gonna... My parents are still holding out hope that Jordan will be found. That he'll come back to them. They are not going to know what happened until I have the person responsible at my mercy. Then I'll go to the police. Then I'll tell. I hope you all didn't get too attached to him. Or if you did, don't mind having me now. And helping me make sure that he does not walk free for very long.